In the last video, we ranked 13 of the 26 best transfers in this transfer window. And today we have 13 more. And make sure to check out the last video in case you missed it for any reason. As of now, in the best of all, we have just 3 transfers. Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, Hakimi to PSG and Messi to PSG. In great deal, we have David Alaba to Real Madrid, Camavinga to Real Madrid, Memphis Depay to Barcelona, Donnarumma to PSG, McKennie to Juventus and Saul to Chelsea. In could have been better, we have Ben White to Arsenal, Jack Grealish to Mancity. For the sake of it, we have Luke de Jong to Barcelona, and in what the fuck, we have Aguero. Continuing the list today, we begin with Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea. Anyone who doesn't know Romelu Lukaku's connection with Inter Milan would say this is the best for all, but Romelu Lukaku promised Inter Milan fans and his teammates that he is going to stay. After winning the Serie A last season, they kind of were battling a financial hard time, so they had to get rid of few of their members, including their manager and Hakimi being one of them. Still, Lukaku said that no, he's going to stay at Inter Milan no matter what happens. He's happy there, it's his home, and then he decided to shift his home. Of course, he's a great striker. Chelsea needed a great striker. After spending a lot of time and money in Timo Werner, they were like, nah, we need someone good, someone who can score goals like a machine. And Romelu Lukaku is that person. Still leaving Inter Milan on that note. He shouldn't have promised if he intended to leave on the first time. Moving on, we have Konate to Liverpool from Leipzig. And for me to put Konate in the best for all would not be just it to Leipzig. They lost. I'll give the reason later on. I promised I will. But still, Konate is a really good defender. Very young. And Liverpool got some solid defense on their team this season. They ensured a backup in case any of their main defenders get injured, and Konate is someone who can actually play as a main defender, not just a backup. So that's a great deal. Odegaard to Arsenal. He was earlier on at Arsenal as a loan from Real Madrid, and now Odegaard is there on a permanent deal. But still, for many who say that Odegaard is happy there, Odegaard is really talented. Like, everyone knows it. He's probably the best player in Arsenal's squad right now. Arsenal fans say that, that they were saying it last season that their best player is not even their player. He's from Real Madrid, just on loan. But now that they have Odegaard, I'm just worried that he might not be happy to give, his early years with so much talent and being so much in demand to a club like Arsenal, who are really struggling right now. So I'd say that it could have been better. For me, I'd say it could have been better. But because he says he doesn't have any issues for playing at Arsenal, he really enjoys himself. Let's say that he doesn't really love trophies and really care about playing at a club like Arsenal. So I don't mind it. He doesn't mind it, so who am I to mind it? Like you see. Moving on, we have Sergio Ramos to PSG. I was gonna put it in could have been better, because for as much as you say, Sergio Ramos, like I have said it so many times in my previous videos, the reason Sergio Ramos had his exit from Real Madrid was because of his form and his injuries. And it is not like he's gonna arrive at PSG and both these problems are gonna get solved instantly. So until and unless you wait and watch what he gives to the squad with time, that's really gonna depend on how this transfer turns out to be. He is the best defender of this generation without doubt, but his current form and everything is highly in doubt right now. I love Ramos, but looking at this transfer from a rational point of view, we still need to see what he provides to the team. Griezmann to Atletico Madrid. Every Barca fan watching this video, I wish to cry just as much as you, trust me. This is probably one of the biggest shambles in the history of Barcelona when it comes to transfer. This is it. It wasn't Dembele, it wasn't Coutinho. This is it. Barcelona bought him for 120 million plus add-ons, if I'm not wrong. And then they are selling him back to Atletico for 50 million, like 10 million in loan, and then at the end of that tenure they will have to buy him for sure for 40 million. So Barcelona are gonna get 50 million back from him. But this wasn't a good for anyone except Atletico. Still, Barcelona, they lost Messi. This was the time they could have counted on Antoine Griezmann, but still Griezmann is gone. Griezmann, who spent 2 years trying to fit himself in the Barcelona system, now has to go back to his previous club. He of course has no issue from it, but still he will forever be labelled as a failed transfer in the history of Barca, and that's not how he wished to leave Barcelona for sure. So this transfer of course comes as without any doubt. And moving on, we have Remy Dal, or Remy Dale as you would like to say, to Arsenal, and this is a deal which could have been better. In case you don't know, he is a goalkeeper. He's young and a good prospect, but Arsenal spent 25 million on him to become a backup goalkeeper. Arsenal spent 25 million to have a backup goalkeeper, and it's not like they are on the top of the table and they can afford to put in such a money for just having a backup goalkeeper. They just don't want to take any chances. In case our keeper gets injured, we don't want to miss out on the Champions League or on the Premier League trophy this year. They're at the bottom of the table, and there are a lot of things they need to work on before even thinking about their future like this. Of course he's going to be their main goalkeeper in the future, but still spending 25 million on to keep him as a substitute goalkeeper right now, not a wise decision. Next we have Elias Moriba to Leipzig, one of the transfer that happened in the last days, and this was just for the sake of it because this was a transfer that could have been highly avoided. Barcelona and Moriba were having a lot of issues when it comes to contract. Now whose side is true isn't clear until now. Moriba says that he wanted to exit from Barcelona because he wanted to play in a side which was more attacking. But before this, everyone knew that Moriba wanted a lot more salary than he was getting. He wanted twice or thrice of what he was getting at Barcelona before. And even though Barcelona was going through a financial crisis, he was like, I don't give a fuck about you all. I want money, baby. That's what Barcelona has been putting on about him in the public. Like, at least the note at which he left Barcelona could have been better. So keeping that in mind, I'm putting him in for the sake of it. Though the deal to Leipzig is really good. He will be starting there after Sabitzer have left, and who knows, he might have a brighter future than he was going to have at Barcelona ever. So good for him. Next we have Depaul to Atletico. Atletico, after losing Saul, they were sure that Saul is either going to go to Manchester United or any of the Premier League teams this year, so they had to bring in someone in place of him, and it's not really the best option to replace Saul with, but still it's a great player to have in your team. He's really great, really good on the ball, physically very strong. Still, Saul was highly technical player, and Atletico is going to miss Saul this season no matter what. Moving on, we have Eric Garcia from Mancity to Barcelona for free in the beginning of the transfer window. This is a great deal for Barca. They needed a defense, they needed a defense to build on for the future, and that means having young players. So him and Ronaldo together could be really solid defense to build upon, and they both are going to solve the Barcelona defending issues for the next coming years to look at it. So it is a great deal for Barcelona to have him at free. He's back home. Sabitzer or Sabitzer, however you say it, to Bayern Munich from Leipzig. Now, this is a deal which could have been better because the input in Bayern isn't going to be as influential as it was in Leipzig. He was their captain, and Leipzig came second in the league last season. This season, they lost their manager, their captain, their main midfielder, their main defender. They lost 5 key players from their team, including the manager, and this is what puts them out of their competition completely this year. This is why I don't like this transfer at all, and this is the very same reason I said that Konate isn't going to be a great deal for Leipzig. It might mean business, but when it comes to competing for the league title, they were doing tremendous last year with a team like that, with a manager like that. But after losing everyone from the squad, like every main part of the squad, they won't be able, I don't think that they will be able to compete for the league title as they did last year. Moving on to the final 3, we have Varane to Manchester United from Real Madrid, and I would love to put it as a best for all, but Real Madrid did intend to let him go this season. He made it clear he didn't want to stay, and because of which I might have to put him in a great deal, but I'll let him stay for the best of all. I'll let him stay. Though Real Madrid fans won't really be happy to let him go unless and until you hate Varane for some reason. Varane is an excellent player. Next we have Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum to PSG. Now Wijnaldum to PSG isn't as great as it looks. PSG have a loaded midfield this season, and Wijnaldum, though of course he can have his parts to play, still him moving to Barcelona, he could have got a lot more minutes there, he could have been more influential there, he could have played a bigger role in that team. Still he wanted to move to a team like PSG. Great decision for him. Could have been better, and let's not say it's not the best for all, at least. And at last, we have the second GOAT making his move, coming back to Manchester United. Manchester United fans lost their minds after this happened. I still remember reading articles of him going to Man City before this happened, and I was disappointed because no matter what you say, I was highly disappointed. Ronaldo shouldn't have even thought about going to Man City. He knew what an image he had in Manchester United, and for him to spoil that just for the sake of having few more years at a great team, it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense. But for him to be at Manchester United right now, like a striker like him at Manchester United, bro, this team is gonna be crazy next year. I can't wait to see the full-fledged Manchester United team play in the Champions League or in the big team against the big teams in the league this year. Will they win the league? That is the question. We'll find it out. Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City might do their things. Liverpool might. Tell me in the comments if you like videos like this. If you would like to change anything in this tier list. I don't think you might want to, or if in case you want to, just tell me, let me know in the comments, tell me the reason and I'll do it. And until next time, peace out and stay safe.